Do you love the Tabernacle Choir? This year, the choir's music is everywhere you are. Listen to your favorite choir songs and music and the spoken word anytime you want on Alexa by simply enabling the skill.
Alexa, play music in the spoken word.
Now playing music in the spoken word.
You can also download the Tabernacle Choir app, subscribe to the choir on YouTube, listen on Spotify, and have access to all their wonderful music. Happy listening.
Question of the morning up on our Facebook page. BYU football starts practice today. What do you want or expect to hear? Matthew with a classic. The boys were flying around. And he also says, I want to hear him say, I have to watch the film. Would you like to estimate how many times you've heard those two quotes?
Flying around to the ball, man. That's something. I don't know that they'll need to be watching film to get an assessment of what they're looking for today. They're just looking for enthusiasm and emotion, happy to be there, excited. The season is upon you. You've done all that work with the lights off, so to speak, in January and February, the dark days and the conditioning and all. Now you have an opportunity. And it's, they go through the acclimation period. I think it's 3 or 4 days before they can be in full pads and all that stuff. So the first day is just a gratitude that you have an opportunity to play ball, and most likely at the team for the school of your choice. Most of these guys could have had other opportunities, and they chose here. So I think he's just looking for, speaking of Kalani being that he's looking for the spirit of it and the enthusiasm of it. As they progress, the film becomes more important. But I don't know that in practice here in August, in the summer training camp, that the film will be that important because of the fact that there's so many returners. I think Jay has a story reading this morning, and I'm talking to him in a couple hours, the third most returning starters in production, whatever it might be. So a lot of the stuff is set. So the film will certainly become important as the season progresses. But I think it's about execution and staying injury-free during the next 3 weeks and really 4 or 5 weeks, because they have Utah Tech. And they should be expected to beat them handily, obviously. And then we get into the second week, and at that point,
conference opener, Arizona, here we go.
Really takes shape. So it's a little bit of a different camp for BYU in that a lot of things are settled and determined. There's always competition, and there'll always be surprises. There'll always be some players that, either through injury or what have you, get an opportunity and take off. And this happens across the country, I believe. Who those players will be, we're not really sure. Because you never really know, because they get there, and a lot of these kids have the star ranking and have credentials. But let's just take Satawala for an instance. Did we know that he was not just going to be a player, he's going to be a big-time player, and he's going to be a difference maker? You're not really sure on that. I can recall the season before last, Isaiah Glasker. Who is this kid sitting in the press box in Dallas for SMU game? Who is this kid? And what was the story? And I talked to Kelly Papinga. Oh, he had a hamstring or some form of injury the prior year where he couldn't really show because he's got size, he's got speed, agility, aggressiveness, blah, blah, blah. And he has this breakout game, at least to me, right there. I think that was the second game of the season, if I remember. And then, wow, he's been really good these last 2 years. Probably could have gone to the NFL and came back. So you have guys that you expect that are going to get opportunities, but what level are they going to settle in at? And those are two guys that I just named from the defensive perspective that settled in at star-like levels. And who's that going to be? That's what's going to be fun to watch as this season progresses for these guys, because every team has them.
You never really know. You could watch Satawala in high school, and it didn't take a genius to think he's got to be getting recruited by everybody.
Sure, yeah.
But you're right. When he steps in, it's like, is there going to be an acclimation period, an adjustment? Is he ready right away? And even in a game, I think maybe it was at Kansas, made a mistake, gave up a score, but then turned around and made a big play and got a turnover and got a pick. And So, yeah, he really did cannonball into the deep end of the pool.
Yeah.
Announce his presence immediately.
Iowa State with a pick six. Seal the game.
It was Iowa State. That's where it was. Yeah, he got beat early, and then he had the pick six later in the game.
Yeah, right. On the road against a decent team. Those are huge. And we're expecting big things from him, provided, of course, he has his health. I know he's had a little bit of an injury, but they're talking about he should be ready.
Oh, we've got comments on that. Tim, I want an update on Satuala's injury. Hopefully he's fully recovered. From major injuries to quote-unquote minor. It's a minor surgery that happens to somebody else. But a quote-unquote minor surgery where guys get stuff, I love it when they say, cleaned up.
No, that's what they're telling us.
There'll be all the questions about, who's healthy today. Those are givens on the first day. And we'll find out who's ready to go and who's still being held out for a week or two and who they're hoping to get back for the season opener. All that stuff plays out here. But Sadwala's health, number one concern for Tim. Chris says, my only hope is there aren't any surprises for who is not on the roster. That's the first thing I want to know.
Okay.
Somebody not eligible. Somebody being held out. Rich says, I expect to hear how great they are, and I expect to hear how they're going to be national champs. Okay. Now you're laying it on thick, Rich.
I think there's a good chance they can do it.
Be great or be national champs?
Yes. Because if you have the second, then you'll obviously have the first.
That's true. It's easy to see them being great, getting a conference title game, win a conference title game, get in the playoffs, win a playoff game. But after winning a playoff game, isn't everything else gravy?
I don't know about that. There's no way that I can say it's easy to see them winning the conference title. Yeah. No, I don't. I can't say any team.
It's not easy to win the conference title, but it's
plausible,
easy,
but it's not easy.
It's easy to see the expectations set there. I don't think anybody's setting expectations at national semifinals, title game, or champs. Some people may be setting their expectations at all those other things I listed. And you're right, it won't be easy to win those things. It'll be hard. It wasn't easy to win the Utah game and get to the conference title a year ago, but they did it and pulled it off and they got there. It wasn't easy. But I think expectations can be set for any of those four accomplishments.
Well,
and then after that,
okay, but why would I say after that? If they are in that situation, why would I just concede defeat? There's no way I would concede defeat like you are.
I don't think they're setting expectations. You're right, they'll be recalibrated, and in that moment they will expect to win the next game, whatever that is. They'll want to win it, hope to win it, expect to win it. The expectations will be recalibrated. But right now, I expect when we go down there, we're going to hear him talk about getting to the conference title game, winning a conference championship, and qualifying for the playoffs. I think that's what, back to the original question, what do you want, expect to hear? That's what I expect to hear.
No, I don't. There's no way they're going to be talking about the conference title game on the first day of practice. That just violates every unwritten code. You could barely get him. We were down there the other day and interviewing and talking to guys. Barely get him to talk about Arizona because it's Utah Tech first, as we had with your guy Schmidt yesterday. Asking him the soccer about what do you do, because you had these other games and you got the short turnaround. You can't be talking about this other team because you got the other game. It was always a joke. Every year we would do the WAC conference call for basketball. And in those days, every game was Thursday, Saturday. Well, you got a better chance of pulling teeth without any Novocaine than
getting a coach to talk about the Saturday game.
Yeah.
I got to write something on Friday.
Right.
Can you give me a quote for Saturday?
They would never, ever do it. You can't. You're tempting the fates. So if I hear Kalani talk about, I'm really looking forward to see who we play in the playoff, I'll drop dead.
You don't think you'll hear a player, the goal is to win the conference title?
Well, that's always the goal. That doesn't change for any team. All 16 teams, the goal is to win the conference title. So that you can get away with that because that is every team's goal every year.
And that's why it's on my list of things I expect to hear about. And that's why they can talk about the playoff, because if you get one, obviously, then you're in.
They're not going to be talking about even that. But if they should get there and win a game, then I'm not going to automatically eliminate them from the second round, advancing, whatever they call it. That means you're really good.
Overwhelmed? That was me with diabetes. Hey, I'm Jabron. Between teaching and coaching, managing diabetes felt like an extra job. With the Freestyle Libre 3CGM, I get real-time glucose readings and have the insights to make informed decisions. My life feels lighter now. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Any other cliches that you used to on the opening day of practice? You've done a lot of opening days of practice.
Yeah, man, the strength coach really came through over the winter. These guys are in great shape, man. They're looking physically good. They can run. They can throw the ball over the mountain and all that stuff. Yeah, man, you can tell they really put the time in the weight room over the winter and the conditioning, and whoever the coaches are, they just did a phenomenal job.
We did get that Monday up at the U. We did. That's a time-worn winner right there.
Yes.
The next time you hear strength and conditioning staff, they didn't really get after it.
Are they doing eating pizza every day?
Yeah, I know. It's like we get some guys who are a little doughy around the middle.
Yeah, that's what they're going to tell you, that they've had a great opportunity to get themselves. We're bigger, faster, stronger. And for me, every time when I played high school ball and I reported for camp, I was smaller, weaker, and slower. That was my problem. I got worse.
Skinny Kinahan, he's here again.
I had nobody else, so I made the team.
We need bodies. Need guys to practice against.
Right. Process of elimination. Okay, you made it. You don't suck as bad as the other guy.
I expect we're going to hear about the wide receiver group. Who's it going to be? And the answer will be we have a bunch of good guys, and we want someone to expect, but we're going to be spreading the ball around, and there's several guys who contribute. And I expect we'll hear a lot about that.
Well, that was always Kyle's thing with rushing and receiving. If you didn't have a bona fide proven product, well, if I get 700 or 800 yards from three guys, yeah, but you never do.
Remember that time that quarterback threw for 3,500 yards?
It just doesn't normally work that way. And sometimes it does. You know, more so at the service academies when they're running it 70 times a game. and you got to, the quarterback is going to have to be good, and then there's going to be a running back or two because they get so many opportunities, and that's their version of the big play. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're looking to take, unless it's a dive, they're looking to take everything as far as they can go. And their big plays come through that. So the rest of them, I like what Robert and I said yesterday. I've always enjoyed listening to him. I know some other folks don't like him, but I've always liked him, is that he's talking about in today's...
Magic happens.
Magic happens.
Wrong one.
Yeah.
No, that was good, Jake, to have the history.
You had to set it.
Yeah,
and then,
yes, exactly.
No,
the history of magic happens through the ages. That was good.
Right.
You did not hit the wrong one.
Magic.
You instinctively understood context. That's what happened there.
I've always thought you have to listen to what he says. And so they had their media day in Logan yesterday, and I went through to get myself up to speed of what's going on up there and what the folks have to say, particularly him because he's new. Took a year off, I think, if not two.
That hit him hard. He felt that time off. Yeah. He's happy to be back at it.
He's 67, 68, but good for him if he wants to do it.
He was living out in the Bay Area because his son is coaching out there, and when he got the job at Utah State, it sounds like, I lost my babysitter.
Well, he has that relationship with Bronco has been there, came back and followed him, and then followed him again, obviously. And he's talking about today's game. The cliche is that they tell you you've got to use the run to set up the pass. Mm-hmm. And he said, no, that's done. No, you've got to spread them out. You have to, there's nothing you do to set up something else. This is not a pitcher, I'll nibble here, and then I'll come back over there, and that type. Use all sides of the plate and all that to set up a hitter. He's talking about you have to be diversified and be really good at all aspects and spread them out so then you can use all your weapons, and one doesn't set up the other in the way the game is played today. So that's something that, I think it's very important, and I liked what he was talking about, and as it relates to BYU with their receivers, they're going to have guys. If they do not have guys that come through in the manner that they did last year, then I don't care how much experience Bachmeier has, how much experience the offensive line has. You've got to be able to do it, and they've got to be able to get the ball down the field. Yeah, it looks like on paper they should be fine running the ball. But at the same time, L.J. Martin has the big season because you got Kingston and Roberts over here having really good seasons. But we always hear about L.J., and L.J. should get all the credit for what he did, but that plays right into what Anai's talking about. You had big-time receivers making big-time plays, and their statistics at the end of the season reflected it, and so did LJ's. Well, if they don't have that, that may hamper the running game big time.
I think the only thing I disagree with is the may. I think it will. I think that theory about spread them out, make them defend every yard of the field from one sideline all the way to the other, and from the line of scrimmage 20, 30, 40, 50 yards downfield, you got to make them defend everywhere. Spread them out. And then you get your playmakers into space and they can make big plays. Because one guy misses a tackle and, the second and third guy can't rally the ball that fast. They're too far away.
And who's it going to be? We know the names, but they're just right now, they're just names.
Yeah.
Who's it going to be?
Who's the
or will it be?
Who's the 60-catch, 800-yard guy?
Will they turn into what Utah had become the last several years, where we're just going to go to the tight ends and run the ball? And that's how we're going to do it.
Will get their occasional catch here or there, but whatever.
But
the tight end's
not
the guy
what you want.
No. It makes it hard under that scenario. It makes it hard to spread them out sideline to sideline and 50 yards downfield. Spread them out, make them. Who's the deep threat? You got to make them defend the whole field and get those guys away from the line of scrimmage. Now the linebackers are in space, and maybe guys can make bigger plays.
Yeah, so that's what I want to see.
Yeah, beat one guy, and you got space to run.
And right now, you're not going to see it in day one. It's going to be more of a talk, more of a thought process. What do they think? And they're going to put the positive spin on it, sure.
That's another quote we're going to hear. Well, it's hard to know. We don't even have the pads on.
Yeah, but the guys that they have had the pads on in the spring. So, and you'll also hear, well, the player run practices, they were really good. They got a lot done.
They won't call them player run practices. PRPs, guys. Come on.
That's, I know, but we're...
Know your abbreviations.
We're ballers, but we got listeners, especially the ladies. We want to explain that to them. Hey, don't blame me, ladies. They have every coach has a thing where they explain football to the ladies during the camp. So don't blame me.
Get to your chalkboard, your whiteboard sessions.
And then they start the chalkboard and then they go out on the field and teach them the game. So don't blame me, ladies. The coaches do it.
BRPs now. It'll be OTAs like the NFL one day.
Because I'm sure DB knows football.
Try next year.
There's a lot of DBs out there who know football.
No doubt.
She knows basketball. DB's the greatest.
Fact.
I'm a girl dad.
Yay!
Look
you
at
don't
me.
Really sound like a Debbie.
Well, I've been one for a long time.
Debbie knew football, and Debbie knows. If Debbie's still alive, and I pray to, the Almighty that she still is, she knows football and basketball. It was a comprehensive sports fan, and you mock her, and you question her. Rude, and unbecoming of the most popular sportscaster in this community.
It was.
Don't blame it on somebody else.
It was quite a disaster.
Yeah. You want to blame it on the old producer because you thought, well, I seen the same thing. It was on my screen, and I didn't question her gender.
That technology was so flawed, we don't even use it anymore.
Again, now he blames, but I had the same technology, and I knew she was a woman.
Or you at least had the good sense not to ask.
I knew. I seen right through it.
I just have gender identification.
Is it XX or XY? That's a big thing these days, but I never know which one's which.
Got to pay attention to science classes at Thunderbird High, man. You gotta stay dialed in there to biology 2 or whatever that class was.
No, I didn't. I just needed a C.
Got your C, got eligible to play third base, and called it good. And that's why you're confused all these years later.
Wait, I'm confused?
Yes, you're confused.
And you sat in the front row because mom and dad required it, and you were a nerd, and you still screwed it up.
I can tell you where I didn't sit then, and even in a room today, I will go sit in the back of the room.
Oh, that's because you're so popular, and you don't want to just dominate and take all the oxygen in the room. You're so freaking humble.
Get in, get out.
And wang.
Get in, get out, have very little to say. You've actually complimented me on meetings. There's some people who've been asking questions and making comments. You sit there, don't talk, listen, and get that meeting over with. Let's go. And the back is the best place to be quiet, say nothing, and not be noticed.
Let's go out and talk to some of the managers here.
Not a meeting. That's one-on-one.
DJ, he never offers an opinion.
Nope. One came in searching for one yesterday. That was surprising. All right, anything else you want to hear today? Anything else you expect to hear today?
Yes, all practices throughout the rest of the season will be open. Come in anytime you want.
Things you are not going to hear today. Didn't hear them last year, won't hear them next year.
I used to have to go, this is the old days, man, when we used typewriters back in the 90s.
Look out.
Or in the 2000s. It would have been some 90s and then obviously into the 2000s because I didn't quit. I didn't stop being a beat writer until 2007. So that's not that long ago. But when they had the two-a-days in Provo and I was covering BYU, that it would be pointless to come home and drive back. And you had to go because you just were always afraid of missing something.
Mm-hmm.
Even if nothing happened, you had to be there. So those I used to hate. The first week was okay because it was fresh, and you can have access and you can do some stuff.
And then you're through all of your off-season questions and stories, and you're stuck because nothing has happened.
And you have to go there, and you'd have to be there for the entire practice. So I used to go and work out. I'd use their facilities and either run, lift, whatever. And then I'd go shower in the Smith Fieldhouse and then be ready for the afternoon one. And you felt like if you weren't there, you just knew something big was going to happen.
And occasionally it did. And I remember being there for one of those, not that we had to be there as much as B writers had to be there, but we were there for one of those, and a guy broke his leg.
And that's usually what
over.
it is. It's an injury.
Yeah.
There's really not, because there's not going to be anything in practice on one singular practice. He's our guy. We're going with him at any position. It's an accumulation. Yeah. And they do film everything. They've got film. You'll see them filming from multiple angles, and they do go and rehash and look over and study it up and down, inside out.
Well, and show it to kids and say, hey, here's what you did and here's what you need to do.
And they notice every little thing. The second you step on the practice field is recorded, and your effort and your production and all that stuff. So they know everything, that's for sure. But it's from the media standpoint now, it's not even close to what it was, which is good and bad, I guess. And I get why they do it though, because the media is such a huge umbrella now. And you don't know who's doing what and blah, blah, blah. And plus, if one does it, they all got to follow.
There's that, but there are specific stories along the way, and you've heard the one about Lavelle, and they were playing Washington in an opener, and someone came and gave him plays because they'd been in a Washington practice and diagrammed a bunch of stuff, and he was horrified and sent him, I think it was Neuheisel, and sent him and said, hey, sorry about this. You ought to know somebody's watching your practice, and they gave me this. I don't want to know it. Here it is back.
Yeah. I get it.
And now with phones, and we've been through Spygate with the Patriots and all that kind of stuff. So
you're sort of backed up against the wall.
More fences, more windscreens, less access.
Yeah, so be it. And ultimately, I think it's the fan who loses a little bit in the short term. But come Saturdays, we get to see it all anyway. I mean, it was fun to watch them do trick plays in practice and know they were coming.
Yeah.
Because you saw them and you knew.
Or be disappointed you didn't get to see them because it was such a fun play and it was so cool. And then the game didn't call for it.
You may see it later on.
Yeah.
And now you don't. Now it's going to be a surprise because they don't let you in, and if they do let you in, it's sort of watered down and all that type of stuff. So, and I used to like the give and take. I like the way as the thing wore on that the players, the coaches would try to frustrate the players in that manner.
The quarterback was running and the play is blown dead, and he's complaining like, "No way!"
And then the scrum or the not fisticuffs. I don't know what I'm looking for.
But guys
tussling.
They start to fight, but it's more of a tussle, and they're grabbing jerseys and they're hollering, and other guys come in to pull them apart, except other guys want a piece of them. And there's multiple whistles blowing. Knock it off, guys.
Right. And tempers. It gets hot and so forth.
And that's why in a couple of weeks we'll hear the cliche, we're tired of hitting each other. It's time to hit somebody else. But we won't hear that today. That one's still a couple of weeks off.
Way too early. We got at least a couple of weeks.
Pace yourself.
And then did they go to the movie? Did they raft the Provo River? What did they go to the water park? What did they do?
They went to the water park
Day?
yesterday.
Yeah, but that hasn't started yet. When you come out to practice, they go, okay, boys, we're going to do the slip and slide. That was always a favorite of BYU's, and see the big uglies doing the slip and slide, and you get all fired up, and maybe a coach or two would do it. Those were good times.
All right, DJ and PK, BYU football practice starts today. We'll be down there. We'll be telling you all about it tomorrow. Coming up 8 o'clock, the coaches poll is out. We will get into that. 4 Big 12 teams ranked, including the 2 locals. That's all on the way. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Overwhelmed? That was me with diabetes. Hey, I'm Jabron. Between teaching and coaching, managing diabetes felt like an extra job. With the Freestyle Libre 3C GM, I get real-time glucose readings and have the insights to make informed decisions. My life feels lighter now. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
When she said I don't dance now, I make money moves, that was a mission statement for a whole new generation.
Respect, but that's not the Mount Rushmore. Listen, cash rules everything around me. When that line dropped, it changed the whole hustle. The greatest tracks are never finished. They're just debated forever. Introducing the Sprite Living Track List. 50 tracks that shape the culture from 6 decades of hip-hop. Scan the QR code on a Sprite or Sprite Zero Sugar to see the full breakdown. Obey your thirst. Sprite.